Hey guys, it's Adam here, and I hope you're all doing fab. So today I wanted to talk about why I chose forearm phalloplasty rather than any other site in my body. And yeah, and there are a lot of factors to take in. I have actually spoken about this before in my first ever video, but as you might know, it is extremely long. It's an hour long, and I do recognize that a lot of people can waste uh, an hour of their time. So yeah, I just thought I should, maybe just specifically talk about this point because, I really struggled to get a lot of information back in 2015. And 2015, there wasn't really a lot of people talking about phalloplasty and sensations and hospital details and, and so on. And now there are, and it's really great. But I mean, it's never enough to have enough voices. You should hear as many voices and as many experiences as you can. So anyway, let's crack with it. So right, okay, cracking with it. So yeah, like I mentioned, there are a lot of factors that led me to choose my forearm phalloplasty, even though that wasn't initially what I wanted to have at the very start. So let me just walk you through my experience and what I've gone through and the questions I asked and where it led me. So number one, that would be personal preference. So if we speak about the sites that we can use that I know of, and that's forearm, ALT, which is the thigh, and the lower side of your stomach, and your side of your back, which is about here, just under your armpit. And let's talk about this one, right? So about this one, I rarely read or watch anyone talk about having surgery here, and I think the only I only read about it in from a couple of guys in 2015, and their experience wasn't very positive. They didn't have a lot of sensations, I think. And also, there is a big factor as well in having the surgery, and that is a big, massive scar on your upper body and your side of your upper body, which I wasn't really keen to have. Like, I have two big scars here, and for me, that's more than enough. I just don't want anything on my upper body anymore, and that's a personal preference. But that just kind of helped me to say, okay, well, I don't really want the surgery because I just don't fancy having more scars on my upper body. So yeah, this is something you have to think about. Where would you like your scars? It's really, really important because that's something that you're gonna live with for your entire life. So yeah, make sure that you're happy where you're getting your scars, because you're getting scars anyway. But just where are you happy getting your scars? Okay, second site, and that would be the stomach. So have you know how the again, there wasn't really hell of a lot of information on it, but it was definitely more than the side of the side of your back. um and most majority of people that they said that it's you get, there's a percentage guaranteed sensation and having sensation in the lower side of your penis, but not top side of your penis. And I didn't really like this kind of guaranteed percentage of having it in having it half of the penis but not but not the rest. It just seemed a bit dodgy to me. But again, that's that's just my opinion. But also there are like there's also a factor, and that is big scar on your lower side of your stomach. And again, I'm not keen, and I wasn't keen to have more scars on my upper body. To me, that just seemed like I was gonna have like a big scar on my lower side of the tummy, and then two scars here, which would look like a smiley face. And I'm like, I just kind of, I think I'm gonna pass. Um, yeah, I think because a lot of people weren't really talking about it, it kind of made me a bit like, ooh, you know. Um, and then and then third one would be the forearm phalloplasty. So that was the most famous one of all, because there were so many people talking about it, actually positive, experience. They were talking about having sensations straight away, and they were really happy with it and all of that. But I wasn't really happy having a scar here. And I was also kind of scared to lose my arm. I think it's weird because it's really, really rare, but I am a smoker and I have really bad circulation in my hands, and that was something that played in my mind. Um, you know, what if that will, you know, because of this, I will lose my arm, and it's kind of scary. You know, it's not something small to overlook; it's something big. So I was like, I'm not really keen on having the forearm phalloplasty. So that left me with the thigh, and I was really happy with that. I've just read so many people talking about it, specifically from America. I'm based in the UK, by the way. So yeah, it was specifically people talking about, you know, their experience in America with surgeons in America. But I mean, nevertheless, their experience was really positive. They were having like really good sensations. I've seen a couple of photos on different sites of the phallus, and it looked, you know, quite nice. I'm like, you know, I like that. And the scars, well, the scars are in your thigh, so you really like, it's very unlikely that, you know, that they would be visible unless you're like naked, or unless you're like wearing really short shorts or speedos or something when you go to swim. So like, you know, it's like very unlikely for me to wear speedos when I swim. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. That seems like a good place to have the surgery. But as you know, obviously I didn't have it. And here is why. Number two, your surgeons. So, you know, you're depending on which surgeon you choose, that will alter your choices, because not every surgeon excels on every single technique. Some focus on some techniques, but not others. So when I sat down and sat down with Dr. named Christopher from the London team, we, you know, we kind of discussed the stomach procedure, we discussed the forearm procedure, and I've noticed that he never really mentioned the thigh procedure. um so when I met him, I was like, I'm, you know, I'm really keen to have my surgery, um or, you know, to use my thigh as, you know, as a side donor, because I'm not really comfortable with the phalloplasty one. And he said, well, we don't actually do this kind of procedure in here. But he was like, well, you know, let me take a look anyway. So I was like, right, okay. Took off my pants, showed him my thigh, and he kind of like drew on it of what kind of, where the site would be and how long it would be and everything like this. And he said, right, okay, well, you know, this is kind of what it would, you know, this is the length of the graft that we would take. And it was long. And he said, yeah, it would be long. And um and also because of my body fat percentage, it would be very, very thick for penetration. And that's obviously, you know, I wanted to use it for penetration, and I know that some guys don't really care about this kind of point, and, you know, and in which case they choose the thigh. But for me, I wanted something that was not, definitely not too big. I didn't really want to stand out from the crowd. I wanted something that is average looking, and, you know, just average, you know, average as anyone else. I don't want to be like, you know, the superhero, you know. I don't want to be like stand out. I definitely wanted to have it to use for sex, you know. That's, you know, that's the whole point for me anyway. So yeah, and that was kind of a bummer to me, because, you know, you know, I'm not like, I don't, you know, normally I've got a lot, you know, I've got some fat on my body, but my thigh, I think, holds the majority of the fat. And, you know, yeah, I think he just said, like, you know, if you use your thigh, that would be like, you know, it would be too thick and it would be long. Which I think is the case for the majority of thigh ones. I think they're slightly longer than the forearm one. But, you know, anyway, so to me, my factors were my personal preference, which actually ended up coming last, which I thought would come first, but it came last, because one, my surgeon, two, my body fat. It's actually mainly my body fat just not made it possible for me to use, and that kind of left me with my forearm. In terms of my circulation and everything, he said that, you know, it's fine, it's not really a big deal, you know, like my, you know, my blood flow in my arm is good, there's nothing really wrong with it, it's nothing to worry about. And obviously I needed to quit smoking as well, so I was like, right, okay, you know, that's fine, I just have to go with it. I wasn't, again, so I wasn't really comfy having making this decision, but I didn't really feel like I had any other choices. He did speak about the stomach one, and he said that there is this guaranteed chance of having sensation in your bottom half, but not your top half of the penis. And I'm like, yeah, it just didn't really, it wasn't really, appealing to me. I said that if I used my stomach, it would be slightly thicker than my forearm because my forearms are quite skinny and there's not a lot of fat on them. So I said if you're gonna use your forearm, then you better eat and you better gain weight on your forearm, so it's, you know, can be thicker. But as you know that, when you eat shit and when you gain weight in general, you don't, your forearm is not the first place to have, to gain weight on. You gain weight on your face and tummy and stuff. For me, definitely, but not my forearm. Nevertheless, I really did try to eat as much shit as I can in the space of 2 months to make it all happen. I don't think I really gained a lot of weight on my arm, but you know what? It's the results are fantastic to me. They are fantastic. I don't think it's too skinny. I think it's average, and the length is perfect. The girth is perfect for me, and overall, even though I wasn't really happy at the start, I am very happy that I ended up having this surgery because I mean, even though I didn't want the big scar on my arm, I am fairly comfortable with it now. It doesn't really bother me at all. I just got used to it. I'm not one to give a fuck about what people think, to be honest with you. And I'm very open if someone wants to ask. I take the piss sometimes. Like I remember this guy that asked me what happened to me, and I was like, oh, I just don't really like to talk about it. It was really traumatic. But I guess I'll just tell you. So I was swimming in the Red Sea, and we were diving and stuff, and it was really cool. We were having loads of fun. But we ended up having a shark attack, and it's fucking rare. It's really, really rare. But I guess I was just really unfortunate this day, and the shark attacked me, and that was the first thing when I was trying to cover my face or shield myself. He just took my arm with it, and I ended up fighting the shark and had my friends that stabbed the shark, and we stabbed the shark in the eye, but and thankfully, the only damage that happened was my arms. And he was like, "Oh man, that sounds terrible. That sounds shit." And I was like, "Man, I'm sharing with you. It was just some surgery. Yeah, you don't really have to tell people what exactly it was all about. You can take the piss, or you can simply say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't really feel comfortable, or you can say, oh, it's just some surgery. You don't have to tell people if they ask. It's nobody's fucking problem. It's nobody's business. That's definitely something you don't have to worry about at all. And in terms of how it looks, no one really cares. I mean, some people would take it, look at it quickly, but it wouldn't really affect the conversation or how they see you or how they feel about you. It's just something that looks slightly different from everybody else. So they will take a look at it and that's it. And 99% of people don't ask what it's all about. And I forget it, and now it's like part of my arm. Like it doesn't look weird to me anymore. It's like I've always looked this way. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it looks to me like I've always looked this way. So it doesn't really bother me anymore. And in terms of strength, I have worked on this arm very, very well. I've given it all the care it needs in terms of flexibility and stretching and strength to get it back up to the same strength and flexibility of the other arm. So like if you see, I can turn them, just even them up so you can see. I can do that. I can, do that. It's fairly flexible actually. Like it's really, really flexible. Um, and and the strength is pretty much the same, but obviously I had to work on it for for the first few months after surgery just to get it back up to speed, with the other arm. So yeah, if this is something that is scaring you, that you feel like, because I have read about people that said like they stopped, going climbing and doing like some of their activities because of how stiff the arm is and how weak it is and everything like this. And I don't think this is a factor that should stop you, because you can get it back to normal. You just have to work on it just like everything else. I imagine if you use your legs, you will use some mobility and some strength, and you will need to work on it just as hard to get it back to normal. So this is something that easily can be done. It's never been something like, oh, I have to work so hard, I have to work so hard every day. It was just like, I like to work out, and that was just something that I incorporated in my workout routine. You know, every time I would work, I would like pay special attention, 5 to 10 minutes on this arm, you know, stretch it very well. And then when I, you know, when I do some exercises, I make sure that, you know, I'm giving it the time it needs. But, you know, otherwise it wasn't frustrating. It wasn't like time consuming or anything like that. Just added a few more minutes on, you know, on my workout routine. That's all. So yeah, these were the things that helped me come to this kind of decision. And you know, when you make this kind of decision, you just have to think about where you're comfortable having scars. Choose a surgeon that will, when you decide where do you want your to where you want to use the site, where do you want to use which part of your body you want to use, then you make sure you find a surgeon that excel at this technique specifically, and not just other techniques. You have to pick a surgeon that performs this kind of technique all the time. And yeah, and you just have to consider your body fat, and you know, and all of this. But this is, you know, this is most likely a conversation that you're going to have with your surgeon anyway. But also, when it comes to personal preference, you have to think, what is it that you, what is the end result that you would like? What you know, what do you want to use it for, basically? Because I have read about people that don't want to use it for penetration, and that's fair dues. You know, that's you know, that's total, you know, that's perfect. You know, like, not, you know, not perfect, but that's, you know, that's what they want. Then, you know, that's it. So they have to think that I want it to look average, or that I want it to look like, whoa, you've got a big guy going on there, or do you want to use it for penetration or not? What do you want it to look like? How thick do you want it? And when you write all these down, and when you write them all down, it will give you a really good idea of what is the best site for you to choose. And then you go and discuss all of this with your doctor, and that will just help you confirm everything that was, you know, on your mind. But anyway, I hope this was helpful to you, because I know how you know, it can really mess up with your mind. You know, I know it did for me, and I was really confused and I had loads of questions. And I just wanted, like, even though I spoke with my surgeon, I really wanted to speak to a trans guy and ask, you know, some questions that a surgeon can really tell me. So I hope that was helpful to you. But if you do have any questions, I'm really happy to help, because I know, you know, I know you sometimes need to have this conversation with someone like you. But anyway, yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, and I will see you in another video.